What's up, everybody? This is another episode of Duval Against Y'all on the Blindside Sports Network. I'm your host, Zach. Find me on Twitter at the link below at the bottom here. I'm going to talk about our Jacksonville's another frustrating loss, this time to the Cleveland Browns. Trevor came back to play off this injured thing, which that's mad respect for him to playing like he's playing hurt. And unfortunately, we didn't get the win. A lot of the offensive line starting to go down now. I mean, Cam's out, Walter Little's out, Ezra Cleveland, he's went down. So it's kind of he's trying to fight for his life, but he brought us back. It just unfortunately was kind of too little too late. But let's get into that. But of course, before I just want to make sure y'all know, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Like I said, there's still plans in the work for some other shows coming, so make sure to be on the lookout for all those. All right, so let's get into this game. So let's start with some positives. So obviously, okay, Evan Ingram's starting to get some scoring touchdowns now, so that's good. It took him a while to get his first touchdown. Got it last week on Monday night, and then he got two more this week. So that's great to see. Parker Washington seems like he's doing his thing. He's showing. I'm not gonna say he's great at doing his Christian Kirk role, but he's holding it down. There's obviously a downgrade anytime you lose so like that. The backup's always gonna be a downgrade, but he's doing pretty good. He's doing better than some of the other receivers on the roster. I'll get to in a moment. So that was good to see. That's probably the biggest thing I noticed out of this game. The defense held it for a little bit, got some more turnovers, so that's good. But they also were getting beat deep again. So I feel like that's our issue is we get beat deep too much. Part of this, I think, is because we don't have another elite pass rush, or it doesn't be elite. Trayvon Walker's not bad, but he's not there yet. But Josh Allen's a great pass rusher. But in order to get the pass rush, we end up having to blitz a lot, and that's hurting us on the back end. Some of this I'm not sure, but just because of the depth issues on the roster, some of these guys who haven't really played that much. Gregory Jr. not playing that much. Antonio Johnson not playing great, but he did have that good the sack, the fumble, so that was good to see. But even with everyone healthy, we're not great deep. Early in the season, I was saying it was mostly Rashad Jenkins getting beat out of coverage. It's slowly starting to creep to everybody, I think. Darius was never great at it, but he usually would have to run under stuff. Darius having an interception was good. For another positive, but it's just we get beat deep. Which I feel like is worse than all this. We got to stop the run, and now even our run defense isn't that great anymore. I don't want to say it, but it almost looks like it's Devon Hamilton. I feel like our run defense went downhill once he started playing more. Which we just gave him all the money, so if we trade him or cut him or wait for next year, it's not a good look. But some we might have to look into because when Blacksburn's in, our run defense is a lot better. Because that's the only change. And it's been enough into the season. Teams should have figured it out before. Basically, the 49ers kind of did it, and then we would hold on with the Texans, and now the last two games people are realizing it even more. So that's good to see. That needs to get cleaned up. Our secondary needs to get cleaned up. Josh Allen is playing his hardest to do everything, but I feel like especially him and Devin Lloyd on the front seven that are doing a lot. We're Robinson Harrison, who I like. He's just not in the guy for some of this. Foley went down, so that hurt a lot too. And Foley is a guy I like, but I don't think we'll have him back next year. Next year, probably Devon Hamilton, which, like I just said, I feel like our run defense is getting worse when he's playing, but he'll be cheaper and with cap space needed for at minimum, and I'm going to preach this every episode, we need to pay Josh Allen first. and then worry about everybody else. I don't care if we got to franchise tag him. We cannot let him leave because if he leaves, our pass rush is bad. Again, Walker's playing a lot better than he did his rookie year. He's still not great, and then I also believe that Walker needs to be. Still a little small for it, but I feel like he would be better as a DE versus a outside rushbacker. I feel like he's a lot better with his hands in the dirt as opposed to standing in a 2 point stance. We've all seen it throughout the year, but I think just because we didn't go get another pass rusher, I think we're kind of forced to put him outside. Because Chaseon's not, he's better than he's bet. This is probably his best year, but still, he's not worth like being the third guy. Smoothie's still coming back, and he's actually not, obviously because it's an Achilles, so I'll give him a little pass, but he's not like he was. In the years past, Smoothie was our best pass rusher. Now he's third at best. I feel like we can do better than that. But it's just something we gotta work on. Our D line, I mean, this secondary is not going to. Cisco's supposed to be our elite guy in the back. He's trying to watch the field a little bit too much instead of just playing his position, so it's leading him to be out of coverage. Or it's just the defense is bad. We're getting turnovers, but we're not winning, and that's our biggest issue. So that's something I feel like we need to clean up vividly. We also need to clean up the offense. I'm gonna go into that now. Offensive line injuries, so are hitting us hard. Especially at left tackle, which is the most important position on the offensive line, I believe. So that's hurting us a lot. We can't run the ball with ETN, but Deion Johnson can get a little bit because he's a different type of back. But I feel like we need to be running the ball way more than we do. Even if it's not working like this, Trevor on a hurt ankle should not have thrown the ball 50 times. The game was close enough. We could have ran the ball more. A lot of this is, I know both Press Taylor and Doug Pearson don't like running the ball unless they're up or unless the run game's exploding. But there's times we just need to do it. I don't know who the best player now that everyone's down, where the best spot would be to run it. I'm not a fan of the sweeps. The quick tosses, the only issue is a lot of our linemen get beat quick enough so that it gets back in the backfield. When it works, it's a great play, but it's so inconsistent. I wouldn't use it every time, but it's just something we just need to work on. Trevor threw 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. A lot of these, at least 2 of these, were thrown in Calvin Ridley's direction. And I'm going to say it. I was saying it on Twitter during the game. I think a lot of us in Jack Nation are with it. No, Calvin Ridley needs to. I know it's going to suck with all the picks we gave for him. But we need to not give him a big deal. It needs to be like a 1-year max. If he stays, he needs no more than a 1-year deal. He's just too inconsistent. He's trying to be like they all saying he's like this great. He's elite number 1. You got to feed him. Every time we feed him, it doesn't really work great for us. Either through interceptions or he drops it. For my preference, he drops too many passes. I wouldn't keep him. I would go try to get somebody else to help if we want number 1 with Kirk and Zay Jones. I personally feel like our offense was better with Kirk and Zay Jones last year, and then Ingram being the third, as opposed to trying to force feed Ridley and all this stuff. I just feel like it messes with the flow too much. Some of that may be Press Taylor's play calling, but versus Doug Pearson last year. But of course, we're not going to go through all that. Doug says he's Press's his guy, so he's going to die on that Press Taylor hill. But I just don't think it's working either with him or with Calvin Ridley. So I feel like Calvin Ridley's probably going to walk, and also feel like he feels like he is a bigger receiver, so he needs like the spotlight. I feel like he's like a spotlight receiver personally. I may be wrong in this. I'm just going from his body language on and off the field. I feel like Christian Kirk knows who he is. Zay Jones knows who they are. Evan Ingram knows who he is. I just feel like Cover really looks for the calls too much. Like I feel like you think he's like Julio in his prime or Jefferson trying to get all these calls, and he's not that guy. He's like I say, he's probably good 2, maybe 3, but no, 2's disrespectful or 3's disrespectful. He's a 2. Um, but he wants to act like he's the 1, and unfortunately, he's not that type of guy. So we have, but also going over so last year with Christian Kirk, I feel like Kirk's the 1, which unfortunately he's out most likely for the rest of the season. Even he's rehabbing like crazy. There's already videos of that everywhere. So maybe he'll surprise us. He's out for at least 4 weeks, but then after that, we'll see what happens. I mean, with Trevor, it was supposed to be at least a week injury, and he's played this week. Which again, we put Chris Kirk on IR, so he has to be gone for at least 4 games. But after that, who knows? But that's good for that. The best thing, another good thing about it is the only one, everyone else who's competing for this division, which is the Colts and the Texans, both lost. Not going to say anything bad about them, just like the Texans were saying stuff on Twitter about us when Trevor went down. I'm not going to say anything about CJ Stroud going down, but he's down too, and they look bad without him. So the one plus is even with us lost, we're still leading our division. We're still a game up on everyone. At least the Titans, if I remember it correctly, have been eliminated mathematically, so we're good there. But we gotta fix this. I don't know which is the best, quickest option. With Kirk down, we have to force it to Ridley a little bit and Zay Jones just because we need. Who else we got? Which again, I don't think is good for our team, but it's something we're going to have to deal with for the rest of the year. I feel like even if we get the playoffs, unless everyone's healthy instantly, then I don't think it's gonna be a Super Bowl run. Again, this is Press Taylor offense more than Doug Peterson's offense. So the whole Carson Wentz MVP thing was never going to happen. Personally, that we should. I know I was a believer thinking we would explode offensively, but it looks like it's obviously not working. Not sure what the biggest issue would be offensively, other than maybe the play calling. I feel like we are a lot better when Trevor kind of does his hurry up, take over thing. Like what we did that last drive. I wish we had more of that. Going off of some tape, it looks like Trevor calls his own plays sometimes, and those are the ones that are most successful. Like the quarterback sneaks that we don't run, his little Trevor Lawrence still reach over things. Those should be every time we're down to 1. Go for it. Tank basically is not the power back we thought it would. But we should no more pitches down there. It's a short area. It's not usually a great play. Especially at the goal line. If it's like at like the 20 or something, okay, that's one thing. But within like the 2-3 yard line, we should never be running that play. The run up the gut doesn't work. I just don't feel like our offensive line's great enough. That's what I probably would go get in the draft right as of now. And get Trevor his big body receiver that we need. Calvin Ridley was supposed to be this great receiver. Like I said earlier, he's not really showing me much. I'm just scared that I'm just nervous. Let's not go scared yet. I'm nervous that we're going to end up going for a signing Calvin Ridley to some massive deal and letting Josh Allen walk, which is the worst possible idea we can possibly do. Both have where this guy is. Josh Allen's been with us, drove and built himself up to a great pass rusher. He's been saying all year that it wasn't him. It wasn't that last year wasn't his best, and this year I feel like it's his best. He's obviously beaten his season sack record already. He's really close to breaking our season sack record. Um, he should be able to break it this year. I think he's half a sack away from breaking it. So barring injuries, he should be fine. But so that's hopefully we get that fixed up. We got to fix our tackling. Our tackling has been atrocious the last couple games. The biggest culprit to me is Rashad Jenkins. He's doing all that shoving, trying to big hit sticks tackles which is no. That can work with like sacks, but in the open field, rapid tackle. I hate that the league's kind of leaning towards the big hits instead of rapping. It kind of leads to the whole scripted thing. I feel like that's more scripted than anything. I don't know. Don't know if players are afraid to be on highlight reels, getting ran over or something. But we get that tackling. Rashad Jenkins needs to go. I also don't feel like Rashad Jenkins will be on the team next year. I feel like Antonio Johnson is going to take his spot next year. I also feel like Jamal Agnew is going to be gone next year. Just due to cap space issues. There's a few guys I feel like, and I'll probably do a future video on who I don't in the future about who I feel like is not going to be on the team next year. Which there's a few guys. I think most of us who watch the games kind of know, but obviously, like I said, I'll probably go into a deeper video on that at a later date. But it's on the next game. We got the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. I'm kind of nervous about that game. I hope at least Walter Little and Ezra Cleveland can come back this week. I feel like we need the offensive line as much help as we can because Cam Robinson can't be back yet. Which again, Cam is a better run blocker and does better against power rushers than Walter Little does, but Walter Little does better with speed guys. I wish we could kind of morph him into one player and it would be elite, but unfortunately, that's not realistic. But that's kind of what we need to do. We need to show up. We need to go through. We need to beat the Ravens. We got to try to keep this lead in the AFC South. We should be okay, but again, there's still a lot of football left, so a lot can happen. Chiefs keep losing too, so we could have had a higher seed, but unfortunately, we're not at this moment. They already says this was part of our schedule that was going to make or break us, and as of right now, we're getting broken. We got to show who this is. We got to show what Duval actually is. But we got to go. I want to see some more turnovers, but preferably, obviously, I want those turnovers to be scores at this rate because it looks like the offense is struggling. I think it's all around. I think there isn't really a guy. I guess maybe Evan Ingram would be the guy who's still probably the lead at showing what he can do. Because Kevin, like I said, Zay Jones drops a few passes, but he also makes the good plays, but he doesn't get the ball enough to show what he can do. So that hopefully he can get the ball a little more, and hopefully we can start winning more. I mean, because two in a row is not great, but we got to do what we got to do. But all right, but that's it for this week's episode of my post-game reaction to the Browns. Like I said, we're still leading the AFC South, so that's always a positive. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm still going to call it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. At the app below. I just remember it's always Duval against y'all. And